iPhone tips that have that wow factor are all well and good, but sometimes you just want to learn some of the hidden tips and features of your iPhone that make your experience better. And in this video, I'm going to share 10 of them with you. Okay, let's get into it. Let's say that you're planning a trip with a friend. Chances are you're doing most of your research using websites, and then for most people, you're texting each other back and forth with information that you've found. In some cases, you might even create a shared note in the Notes app and add your research there. But did you know that you can create a shared tab group in Safari, allowing you to view and edit a list of websites in real time? Let me show you how. So we start in Safari and press the ellipsis menu in the bottom right-hand corner, then press All Tabs. You can see that in this example, I've got a number of websites relevant to a trip that we're planning. These are the sites that I want to create a tab group from. So I'm going to press the ellipsis in the top left of the screen and then choose Manage Tab Groups. I'll choose New Tab Group with 4 tabs, and that will create a new tab group from the tabs that I currently have open here. If you wanted to start from scratch, you could, of course, choose New Empty Tab Group. I'll give the group a name and press Save, and my tab group has been created. I now need to share it with the person that I'm planning the trip with. I'll go to the ellipsis in the top left corner of the screen, and this time choose Share. You can see a little menu appears down at the bottom of the screen, letting me know that this is a collaboration with somebody else, and I can choose Messages to share the link with that person. You'd simply choose them like you would any other person in Messages and then send them the link. Once the person clicks on the link, you're now both working in this tab group together and can both add or remove websites as you like. It will be reflected on both devices, allowing you to pull together a comprehensive research list in real time. By the way, if you find iPhone videos like this useful, but sometimes wonder how you're ever supposed to remember all of these tips, you should definitely check out the Daily Swipe. It's a completely free daily email where I send one simple, genuinely useful iPhone tip each day, written in plain English. It takes less than a minute to read and even less time to try out, so it's an easy way to keep getting better at using your iPhone without feeling overwhelmed or forgetting everything from videos like this. If you'd like to sign up, just scan the QR code on screen or click the link in the video description. Let's say you recently created or edited a password in the Passwords app and you now need to find it for some reason, but you can't remember what it was. Thankfully, there's a really easy trick in the Passwords app that can help you identify it. Start by opening the Passwords app and choosing All in the top left corner. This will show you all of your saved login credentials. There's a good chance that yours is organized the same way that mine is, which is alphabetically by website. That isn't particularly handy if you can't remember which password it is that you're looking for. So what you can do is press the little sort button down in the bottom left corner of the screen. That's the one with the up and down arrows. Change this from title to date edited, and you'll see that your passwords are immediately sorted with the ones that you edited most recently sitting at the top. If this was a password that you edited really recently, it's probably going to be showing up here, making it easy for you to find. You could also go back into that sort option and set this to date created if it was a password that you'd only just created. You would then simply tap into the login credentials that you want to view and copy the password. I'm sure you already know how to create a reminder in the Reminders app, but the biggest problem with reminders is that by default, they're really easy to ignore because they just show up as a notification on your screen. If you've got something really important that you need to be reminded of, you can't always rely on that. So let me show you how to create an urgent reminder. We'll start by opening the Reminders app and pressing the blue plus button in the bottom right corner to create a new reminder as normal. I'll title the reminder like I normally would, and then toggle on the urgent switch in date and time. You'll notice that when I do this, both date and time are also enabled, and that's because for an urgent reminder, you do need a date and time as well. You would, of course, change the date and time if you wanted to, and fill in any additional information for your reminder, but when you're done, press the blue tick in the upper right corner. 2 things have now happened. First of all, your reminder is now going to be visible in the urgent reminders list up at the top of your screen, but you'll notice that when we look at it, there is a little alarm clock next to it, and that's because your iPhone is letting you know that this is an urgent reminder, and it's going to trigger an alarm at the date and time that you selected. The alarm is essentially the same one that you get on your iPhone in the morning to wake you up, meaning that you're much less likely to ignore it, making it a much more useful tool for anything really important. By the way, if you enjoy iPhone videos like this, but sometimes feel that there are loads of useful things hidden away on your iPhone that nobody ever properly showed you, you should definitely check out iPhone Essentials Plus. It's my step-by-step iPhone training tool designed to help you feel more confident using the phone you already own. You can currently access more than 250 iPhone lessons, with more content being added all the time. Every lesson includes a short video, a simple step-by-step guide with screenshots, and a downloadable PDF. So however you prefer to learn, you're covered. You can work through modules in order or simply search for exactly what you need help with, whether that's battery life, settings, photos, privacy, passwords, Safari, messaging, or just getting more out of your phone day to day. Everything's available for a one-time purchase price with no ongoing subscription, and all future updates are included. I've also recently added new content like a full iPhone battery course, plus a growing library of ad and sponsor-free versions of my YouTube videos. And if you're a Mac owner, there's a Mac version too, which you can get on its own or bundled together for the best price. If that sounds useful, scan the QR code on screen or click the link in the description to learn more. Control Center on the iPhone is really useful, but a complaint I hear from people all the time is that the buttons, which by default are just little round circles, all look quite similar. For example, here you can see that I've got 4 icons and all 4 of them do different things, but they all look pretty much the same. Thankfully, there's a really easy fix for this. Long press Control Center for just a moment to go into edit mode. When you do that, you'll see that each of the Control Center icons has this little drag bar in the bottom right. Tap and hold on that for just a second and then drag down and slightly to the right, allowing you to expand the icon out and turn it from a single circular icon into a 1x2 icon. When you do this, you'll notice that not only do you get the icon, but you also get an explanation of what that button does, making it much easier to set your Control Center up in a way that works for you. There are a couple of tools and tips that make marking up your images in the Photos app so much better. So let me show you them. Here I've got an image in the Photos app. I'm going to start by pressing the edit button down at the bottom of the screen, then the pen icon up at the top of the screen. This takes me into the Markup menu. I'm going to choose a pen down at the bottom of the screen, then tap into the color option and choose a suitable color that's really going to stand out on this image. With that done, let me show you a couple of markup tips that you can use. So let's say, for example, that I wanted to draw a circle around this plant pot in the image. I would, of course, just take my finger and draw a circle, but as you can see, I'm not very good at drawing circles, so I'm going to press the undo button up at the top left to try again. This time, I'm going to draw the circle, but importantly, when I get to the end of it, I'm going to hold my finger on the screen for just a second. My iPhone is going to recognize that I'm trying to draw a circle and perfect it for me. This also works with other shapes, like squares, as you can see here. Now let me show you a tool that was recently added to Markup. If I press the little plus button in the bottom right corner, I can then choose Add Loop, and a magnifying glass is added to my image. I can use my finger to drag it around the screen to the position that I want, and I can then drag on the little blue circle to increase the size of the magnifier. I can also drag the little green circle to increase or decrease the intensity of the magnification. Both of these are really handy tools for helping you draw attention to something in Photos using Markup. Let's say that you've gone into settings and you've gone several menus deep, maybe way into the accessibility menu, and now you want to get all the way back to the first page of settings. Here's a tip that I find most people don't know. Instead of tapping the back button up in the top left of the screen multiple times, you can just long press on the back button for a second and it will bring up a breadcrumb trail of all the pages that you've been through. Now, if there's a page that you want to get back to, you can just move your finger down and select any of the pages, including the very first settings page. If your iPhone has one, the action button is one of the most useful iPhone features that I find most people either never use or completely misunderstand how to get the most out of it. The action button is the little button that sits just above the volume up button on the left-hand side of your iPhone. For most people, they leave it set to its default setting, which is toggling between silent mode. That's fine, but your iPhone's action button can honestly do so much more. Let me show you how you'd set it up. Head into settings and look for the action button. If you don't see it, it means that unfortunately your iPhone doesn't support it, but all iPhones launched in the last couple of years do have one. If you update anytime soon, you will definitely get one. You can swipe through the available options to change what the action button does. Things like switching focus mode or turning the phone's light on or off or even recording a voice memo. But where focus mode gets really useful is if we go almost all the way across to the right to controls. We can then tap on choose a control, and you'll notice that what you're looking at here is basically the contents of your control center. You can assign any control center function to your action button. Now, at its most basic level, you could assign the calculator to your action button, or a stopwatch, or toggle dark mode on or off. But where this gets really useful is if you use third-party tools, especially AI agents. For example, if I scroll down, you can see that I have ChatGPT installed on this phone, and I can enable that. I can assign accessing ChatGPT to my action button. This would work with other third-party tools as well, like Gemini, for example. It's definitely worth taking a little bit of time to work through these control center functions and find the one that allows you to get the most out of your action button. In the Notes app, if you're constantly jumping between lots of different notes, there's a hidden feature that makes it much easier than constantly pressing the back button and working your way through folders looking for a different note. From any note, tap the ellipsis menu in the top right corner of the screen and then tap where it says Recent Notes. This is exactly what it sounds like. It's a list of the notes that you've most recently accessed, and it will show around 8 to 10 of them in here. Simply tap on any of the notes from the list, and you'll jump straight to that note. Because this menu exists in every note, you can use it as a really quick way of bouncing between notes. Undoubtedly, the number one complaint that I hear from people about the Photos app on their iPhone is that they find the collections view pretty much unusable. And I think that's because, by default, Apple shows you way too much information in there. The best thing that you can do with collections in the Photos app is organize it so that you only see the stuff that you care about. So let me show you how to do that. Start by making sure that you've selected Collections down in the bottom left of Photos. Then press the ellipsis in the upper right corner of the screen and choose Reorder. This now shows you all of the collections in your Photos app, and you can use the little drag bars on the right-hand side to move items around. For example, if there's anything that you'd like to show more prominently, drag it up to the top, while anything that you don't really care about can be dragged down to the bottom. I would also recommend that everyone puts the pinned collection right at the top of their Photos app, and I'll show you why in just a moment. Press the blue tick in the upper right corner when you're happy with the order of your collections. Now go back into the ellipsis in the top right corner and choose Collapse All. With all of your collections collapsed, you can press the little right pointing arrows next to a collection to expand it. This is the quickest and easiest way to make sure that you're only looking at the stuff that you care about. I'd recommend only doing this for a few collections that you're truly interested in and leaving everything else minimized. Now let's talk about that pinned collection. You'll notice there's an edit button next to pinned. Tap on this. Pinned is a bit like collections, but on a much more granular level. You can add literally anything to your pinned menu. For example, if you wanted to add a specific album, like a shared album, you would scroll all the way down to the bottom of this page and tap where it says any collection or album. Then simply tap on the collection or album that you'd like to add to your pinned section. I use this to add the 2 or 3 shared albums that I use most often to make sure that they're always within quick reach. Press the X in the top right corner to return to your collections, and you should notice that it's immediately a lot more user-friendly and much easier to navigate to what you want. If there's a website that you use all the time, there's a hidden feature on your iPhone that lets you quickly access it straight from your home screen. Navigate to the website that you want to do this for, and then tap the ellipsis button in the bottom right corner of the screen. Tap Share, and then tap View More. From here, choose Add to Home Screen. You can change the name as it will appear on your home screen if you want to. You can also decide whether or not you'd like the website to open as a web app. A web app is essentially a stripped-down version of Safari. You still get the main functionality that you need, but it can be easier to use for a lot of people, so it is worth trying if you want to. Once you've made your decision, press the Add button in the upper right corner of the screen. You'll notice that a tile has now been added to your home screen for this particular website, and if I tap on it, it will take me straight to a web app version of that website. So there you go, 10 tips for your iPhone that will make your iPhone experience so much better. What do you think? Anything new in here for you? Or anything that you think I should have included but didn't? Drop me a comment and let me know. And as ever, if you found this video useful, do please consider leaving me a like and subscribing to my channel for more content like this in the future. See you on the next video.